All right, let's try this again. Sorry. Hopefully, Susie will be able to pop back on in just a second. I think maybe her connection was bad or something. So let's see if she's able to join this time. I'm just going to wait for her request to join. Here we go. Should be on in just a minute. But as I was saying, we're just going to go through the makeup. We're going to do the makeup. And then any questions that you have, just
Are
throw
we
them
here?
down here. Are you here, Susie?
I don't know what happened. I tried to all of a sudden it just said live ended, and I was like, and then I kept trying to hit the request, and it kept saying where I could request to join, but it wouldn't. I guess you wasn't seeing it because you was like, "Where you at?" I was like, "I don't know,"
Oh,
but I'm here
well,
now.
I just figured we would start over.
Yes, perfect, perfect. All right.
Okay, so this is my friend Susie, and we're going to go through Seint makeup. This is just, it's an all-in-one compact makeup. Everything's in there. And I do have questions that y'all put in the question box, so we're going to get to some of those. But Susie, the first question is prepping skin before the makeup. That's what was in the question box. And I know me and you do this different, so let's chat about it. I use Pomifera's BB cream. The reason I use this is because it's like my moisturizer. It's got sunscreen in it, all the things. So I use this, but Susie does something different. So Susie, tell them what you do.
This is what I use. I love the Wet n Wild. This is like a glass correct. It's got a little bit of a brightening effect to it. And then I like to mix a little bit of this with, this is the NYX Bear With Me sunscreen. So this works really well under my makeup. Every once in a while, I'll use this Lumi Glotion. I just kind of like to have a little bit of, you know, kind of a little bit of a bronzy look under my makeup. And so these two work well together, or that. And then you know, that's what I do.
Yeah. So as far as prepping your skin, just do what works best for you. Whatever you put on there, I would suggest, and I think Susie would too, give it a couple minutes just to sit into your skin before you put your makeup on.
And if you're oily, then you may not want to moisturize right before you do it, or use like a toner, sometimes like a drying toner before you put on your cream makeup. If you are an oily person, works really well. I moisturize at night. I don't moisturize in the day except for this. This has got, you know, moisturizer too, but because I'm an oily person, I don't want it to be, you know, too much.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm oily, so in the morning I use no moisturizer. The BB cream is it. That's all I put under my makeup. So we have a question about, is the foundation okay for slightly oily skin with pores? Yes, it is. You're just gonna, at the end, when you're done, you'll want to set it. And I use the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray and the Laura Mercier translucent powder. And then I think Susie uses something completely different.
I like to use a lot of different things, but one of the things that I have been loving is the one size. I use this setting powder. The setting powder, I use this, and then I will usually use either one of these setting sprays. I love the Charlotte Tilbury too. I've been out of it for a while, but I've used it, a couple of cans of that before, and I like it too.
Okay. All right, so we're just going to get started. We're going to start putting the makeup on. And as you may see, we may do it slightly different. There's no right or wrong way. Like when you get your makeup, you just start playing with it and do what, you know, what works best for you.
Yes, so, exactly. All right.
Hey, from Australia.
I got the new palette that we just released. What palette are you using?
I've got this one. The pink.
That one too.
Yep.
I love it. This one's so pretty.
I know. I love the blue and white one. That is so pretty.
I do too. All right, so we just want to get started?
Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I use the 3D brush. That's my favorite. Which one do you like?
Well, I have the 3D brush. It has slowly been climbing to the top of my favorites. But you know what? Since you're going to use that one, let me use the shape brush, because this one is going to be more of a lighter coverage. And you can use that 3D, which can be a medium to full, depending on, because it's buildable. So you can start, you know, light, but this is going to have that little airbrushed, lightly fluffy brush. Is going to give you a lighter coverage.
Yes. So I'm using the 3D brush, and she's using the, which one did you say?
The
shape brush.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm going to start with my contour, and here lately I've been using the Fiji highlight. I really like that.
Okay. I like Fiji too. And what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with Mango, doing a little bit of color correcting, because I do have these pores here. If I have any redness, I think you guys can see me. It's kind of weird being on the bottom. I'm a little grayed out, so if you can't see good, I've got my phone tilted. It's a weird position. I don't normally have to keep it in for my other lives, but I'm just going to do a little bit of color correcting with this kind of an orangey color mango. That's how I'm going to start mine.
Okay, that's great. Susie's talking about color correcting. I don't have to do too much of the color correcting. So that's great that she's hitting on that, because that's something that if you're just following me, you may not ever see. So Susie, you want to tell them why you're doing that?
Yeah, okay. So anytime like for the color correction that you use, you're going to use kind of opposite of what the color wheel is. So if you've got some blues and purples, you may want to counteract that with like some oranges or yellows. And so I have a little bit of darkness under my eyes. And so this mango, even though it's orange here, it looks orange, it really does kind of balance this out, and it makes what I feel like my eyes look brighter and not orange. And then it's also really good for redness too, or for like some of these little darker spots. I like to just touch it with my finger a little bit and just go through and kind of pat out some of the areas that may need a little bit extra coverage. And since mango's a little bit dark for me, I can also camouflage some of the other areas, like where my pores, I have huge pores. So I like to kind of dance around a little bit on my cheeks here with the fluffy end of this shape brush, and it really helps kind of disguise those a little bit.
Okay, that's good. So I just put my contour on.
Okay.
And you just kind of have to trust the process of this makeup, because I know a lot of times when you see it, everyone's intimidated. Don't be intimidated. You just play with it. I promise you can't mess it up. So I put my contour on, and I'm just going to leave it so you see placement. And then I'm going to go into my main shade, which right now I'm wearing Candlelit, but pretty soon I will probably shade up to Athens.
What was your contour shade?
Fiji. The highlight shade, Fiji, yeah. Yes.
I love that. I love Fiji. I like it as a bronzer too. Everything's so versatile. You can use multiple things. I'm doing my contour now, and I'm actually using the color olive. And I feel like because I have the discoloration in my cheeks, I have a lot of like sun damage, sunspots, age spots, and olive I feel like really kind of masks that, because it kind of blends right in with it. So if you get a color of your contour that's similar to some of your troubled areas, that will help camouflage it and make it blend in too. Little trick of the trade.
Yes. I'm just looking at my notes here, trying to answer a few more questions we had. How long did the tins last? That was another question. So the tins for your main shade will last like 2 to 4 months, depending on how often and how much coverage you like for your makeup. So 2 to 4 months, and then the contour about 6 to 9. It honestly lasts a long time, because you see you're just putting it in certain areas. Brightening shade probably about 6 months, because ooh, I just put the wrong shade on my face. Trying to talk and look at my notes.
Bet you're going to make it work just fine, though.
Yep, we're just going to wipe that off. And as you can see, I do have redness in my skin, and Candlelit covers it really well.
A lot of our colors have the color correctors kind of already built in, so you're going to be surprised at the coverage that you don't have to also color correct everything, because there's little color correctors that are already there, you know?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to start my main shade too now, which is the color Sandy. And I'm using this shape brush. I'm going to try to do everything with just this one brush.
So the tins do last a very long time. They really do. I know they look tiny, but the cream makeup is more pigmented, so it takes very little product, which is another thing that we want to touch on. Because if you are new to the makeup and you feel like your skin is oily after you put the makeup on, or it feels sticky or tacky, you're probably putting way too much product on. I don't know if you can tell that Susie and I, we're just like barely tapping into the makeup.
I feel like a great thing to do too with this makeup is to do kind of that 50-foot view, like just go in and lightly cover, and then go back after you're done blending everything out, see if you need to add more, because you'll be surprised when you're first putting it on, you think you're not putting hardly anything on. Then when you step back and look, you've got a full face of makeup, and you're going to realize that you don't need as much, and you're so used to traditional foundation of really just slapping it on or putting a lot more than what you need. And that's probably, I feel like, the number one problem everybody has is they use too much because they're just used to doing it the old way.
Exactly.
You don't have to use as much.
Exactly. So this, I just wanted to show, this is my main shade, which was like my foundation shade, and then my contour. And there's not that much product on my face. It's like your skin, just better.
Yeah, your
just better.
skin's so pretty too. Your skin is
thank
so
you.
pretty.
Thank you, Susie. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this same brush that I've been applying everything with and blend it out. And I'm not going to like swipe all over my face. I'm just going to kind of like press that makeup in. And then another great tip, if you are new to Seint, or even if you're old to Seint, if you feel like you have too much product on your face, a damp beauty blender will help pick up any excess product.
For sure. I feel like no matter what type of makeup you wear, you need that in your beauty routine, because you can also use it to apply your makeup, to blend out your makeup, to apply your powder. I mean, there's so many things you can do with the beauty blender, but it will pick up that extra makeup that you have on your face and really press it into your skin.
Right. And then I just wanted to touch on, I'm blending from lightest to darkest, because everyone always wants to know, how does it just blend? I don't know. It's like magic. I don't know how to tell you. Just start with your lightest shade and blend to your darkest shade.
Yeah. And stipple, like if you drag a lot, sometimes you can drag the colors too. But if you kind of do stipple or small circles in little areas, that's kind of where it stays. It is like magic. You're absolutely right. Okay, I just use the color Aura to do just a little bit of brightening down the center of my face.
And so that's one thing that I always do. That's like my very last step. Like if y'all see me on lives, is brighten. I know a lot of people do it when they're doing everything, but I like to, after I have my eyeshadow on, let that be like my very last step. Just to kind of
clean it up. Yeah.
Yes. Which we both already have our eyes done tonight, just because we were gonna try to keep this
and what color are you
as short as possible.
I'm gonna bronze too. What color are you wearing on your eyes?
I am wearing Lullaby. Hold on, I forgot. Lullaby, Cranberry, and Drift.
Ooh, I love Cranberry. I don't wear Cranberry in it. It's one of my favorites. I love Cranberry.
What are you wearing on your eyes?
On my eyes, I have from earlier from church this morning. I meant to touch up, but I didn't have time. We just got home from eating. I'm wearing Bubba and Blondie and Pomegranate and Philly.
So those look good. That's pretty.
It's my favorite combo. It's my absolute favorite combo.
Okay, so I have got my contour and my main shade on. So that is what it looks like. It should not look thick and heavy. It should just look like your skin, like I said before. And then I am trying to find, I was going to add a little bit of bronzer too if I can find it.
I'm doing bronzer right now, and I'm just kind of going in. So I have to do my neck as well, because my face and my neck and my chest are all 3 different shades. I was blessed that way.
Okay. This is Bella bronzer. Is that the one you use,
That's
Bella?
Too, yep. I feel like everybody can use Bella. I
think so too. I got that question this weekend, and Bella looks very scary, but with all the makeup, it's buildable. So everything looks scary in the tin, but it's not. Like you can make it very light. Yeah.
It's just a sheer cover. It's not even a coverage. It is just a little bit of wood that you're adding. It just it's like there's nothing there. It's perfect. It's the perfect brown. And I love it on the eyes too. It's really pretty on the eyes.
Erica just said Bella is my favorite. Hey Erica, thanks for joining us.
I don't see any comments. I keep seeing people that's just joining that was just flipping through. That's all I see.
Oh, you don't see any comments at all?
No. I see hearts. I see hearts coming in. Give us some hearts.
Okay, so that's with the bronzer added.
Beautiful.
And then do what now?
Beautiful.
Okay, I'm going to go into my brightening shade real quick.
Okay.
And then another question that we've had is about if your tans seem dry. I don't really hardly ever have that problem, but I know that people do. So I suggest, I mean, it's mainly the contour. Don't you feel like that? If anything, it's the contour that gets kind of dry.
It's a different consistency than our highlights for sure. Our highlights are more creamy.
Yes. So if your contour does get a little dry, if you use a face oil, you can put just one drop down in it and it'll help make it creamy. Or just take your hair dryer on a very low setting and just, lightly, just for a second, and it'll warm it right up.
Yeah. If you have a cold room too, you're going to notice that your makeup feels that way. Like the room, I'm on the back of the house. This is like one of our warmer rooms. And so I feel like my makeup is always creamy because this room, even in the summertime and even in the wintertime, it's a little bit warmer. So, but I do the hairdryer trick all the time. If I feel like, especially if I don't use it every day.
Yeah.
Because I like to swap up my contours. I like to have options. That's why I love these palettes, because it pops in and out. And so you can have multiple options. Some days I feel like going a little bit darker, a deeper contour. Some days I want it to be like this, just kind of a natural contour. So I don't use them a lot. I'll zap them with a hair dryer, and they're perfect.
Yes. So I'm just adding my brightening shade. And I am using, I think this is Versailles. I like a bright.
That is bright. It looks good though. I don't like Versailles on me, but that looks so good on you.
Well, thank you. And so guys, like she said, everything in this palette is customized to you. Your own shades for lip and cheeks, everything. The eyeshadows.
Palette, yeah, everything. I mean, the size of the palette, you can have, this is a big kahuna. You can, carries 27. There's 3 layers to it. But you can have them that are, smaller. Or I was gonna say I have more of them while you're doing that. I'll show my palettes.
Okay. And so as y'all can see, I'm taking that beauty blender and just going around my eye where I put that brightening shade and just blending that in. And y'all, if you have any questions about Seint, if you've been using it and you have anything, just pop it down here. That's what we're doing tonight. It's just answering questions.
So this holds 4. This one holds 8. This one holds 12. I think the one Ashley's using holds 18. It's the and
18.
Holds 27. And so there's different designs. There is different sizes. So it's customizable to your budget and to your face. That's what I love. Yeah.
Yes, I love the 18. I think it holds. It's like the perfect size. You got your eyeshadows on the bottom. Yeah. And all your cream up here. But the bigger the better, because you can keep adding to it.
Hey, go big, go home.
That's right.
Because I like to have my powders on one whole layer by themselves. And then I have multiple. This is the lip and cheeks. This is 6 different blushes that I can put on my lips or my cheeks. And sometimes I'm rosy, sometimes I'm pink, sometimes I want peachy. I want options. So I love to have all those in here. So I like that in the room.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go in with some lip and cheeks now.
What you doing?
These 2, well, actually, these 3 right here. This is my favorite combo. I've been using it on repeat. It's
Sunshine State?
Yes. Madrid.
Yeah.
Dahlia, and then Sunshine State.
Well, you know what?
Use them all 3.
I'm going to use all 3 too. Let me get mine. I'm going to do it
too. Okay, I'm just going to go over some questions while she's grabbing that. If you have trouble blending your makeup, you can take setting spray and spray it on the end of your brush. So take some setting spray and spray it. That will help blend out your makeup. Also using a damp beauty blender, that will help blend it.
Yeah, that's what I did a while ago. I took my beauty blender and while I was waiting on you to finish, because I do all ham, I just kept mine super, quick and natural. You went more in depth and did more. And so 2 different ways, which I love that we showed. And then I went through and I picked up anything extra that I might have had on my face. Just picks it up.
Right.
Okay. I got my blushes. How are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay. So what I've been doing is starting with Madrid, and I'm just going to do this with my finger.
Okay.
Put Madrid kind of up high.
Okay.
And then going in with Dahlia. And I know these look so scary, but it's so pretty once you have it blended out. Okay. And so then I blend this.
Okay.
And then put Sunshine State on.
Okay.
Hey, Carrie. Carrie said, hey, Susie, since
Hey,
she can't see
Carrie, I
comments.
can't see comments. So, hey. Hey, girl, hey. All right, so you blend it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm my same brush, or is that your
Well, I switched to the blush and bronzer brush.
All right.
So Susie has done her whole makeup with just one brush.
Yep.
I'm over here flipping around, but that just goes to show you can do everything with one brush.
When you get obsessed with it, don't you just want everything?
Yes.
I want to have brushes. I had to have all the brushes. Before I was ever a Seint artist, I pretty much had everything.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So once I blend it out, then I go and put Sunshine State. I've been kind of using this as like my illuminator, like skipping the illuminator step.
Because it is.
Yes.
It's like an illuminator.
And so then I've just been putting that right on top as like an illuminator.
Okay.
And it will like catch the,
So
I don't know if you can see, it kind of catches the light like an illuminator.
See, it's really, it's a really sheer, just a slightly pink and it's got little gold shimmers in it.
Yes.
All right. Let me do that. Here. I'm going to put on my lip. What do you put on your lips?
Same combo.
You do the same combo?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, they ain't gonna look as good on me as it is on you.
Susie's a mauve girl.
All right.
Aren't you, Susie? You like mauve, so.
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
But I'm gonna try. We're gonna do it.
It's gonna be bright, but you'll love it.
I'll tone it down. Hey, just like my cheeks, I felt like I put a little bit too much Dahlia for me because I want to do the same combo. I took my damp sponge and I went over it, and it just kind of mutes it down just a little bit. But that really is pretty, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you do take a beauty blender, it will, if you feel like you've got too heavy, it will tone it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do the lip.
So then I just repeat the same thing. Madrid. And I definitely cannot talk while I put lip stuff on.
Okay. I'm going to do the lighter version of Ashley's. Ashley's going to be bright and bold. She's going to be Marilyn Monroe, and I'm going to be Marilyn Manson.
Okay. So that's Madrid. I think Madrid is so pretty.
It is
just
pretty.
by itself. Like you could do just Madrid. But then I'm just going to do just a tiny bit of Dahlia.
Okay.
Just a tiny. I'm just doing the tiniest bit, just right in the middle.
Okay.
And then I'll top it off with that Sunshine State. And this is a shade that they finally
brought back,
made a permanent staple, and I'm so happy about it.
Because everybody loves this. And I can see why. Because I think it's so pretty. This one is so pretty to layer with because it is like an illuminator, and it will give you that glow, especially summertime, give you that glow on your cheeks. It is so pretty.
Yep.
Oh, this is very pretty. This is a super pretty combo.
And you can mute it down and wear it as, you know, you don't have to wear it crazy bold. You can mute it down.
Yeah, mine's muted. Perfect.
So I love that though. That's my summer shades.
I know.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, signature shade. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Erica. Erica said that we look beautiful.
So what do you do next? I usually do a little bit of powder. Do you powder as well?
I do. Okay. So I may do this opposite of everybody else.
Okay.
I spray my setting spray first.
All right.
So I do a mist of this. And if you miss the beginning, I use Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. And what you use in this? That's
Professional.
Okay.
I really like it because it's a super fine mist.
Susie's got a nice little fan, and I'm here with my notebook.
A leopard fan, right?
She's fancy over there.
Fancy like that. I'm like $5 from Amazon fancy from that fan.
That's funny. Okay, and then I go in with Laura Mercier, I think is how you say it. I'm not even really sure. The translucent powder.
Yep.
And I only set my T-zone. I do have oily skin, but I only set my T-zone.
Okay, and since I barely used any, um, uh, I am going to use actually our vanilla dust because I'm going to use the same brush. I'm not even going to change the brush up because if I used a full face, sometimes I might do a little bit more powder, but I'm just going to go in. I'm not wiping this off or anything because I don't have to wipe it off because there's not a lot of product on it. Whatever I put on the brush goes to my face. So I'm
That's
going
right.
to just.
Yeah, so that's what we were telling you. It takes very little product. If you are feeling icky, you're using way too much. Okay, so I put my powder on with this little, I don't know, this little poof pad. I don't know what that's called. And then I'm just going to take my blush and bronzer brush and just wipe off any excess. And so I have very oily skin, and I'm also very hot natured, and I'm a hairstylist, and I have a hair dryer going all day, and my makeup will stay. Like I don't have to touch up. So do you ever, I mean, does yours stay pretty good?
Mine stays, I would say if I put it on about 7 in the morning, if I'm going somewhere, I would probably want to touch up about 6 or 7. But now when I touch up, I would literally get this brush, and even though I've powdered or whatever, I feel like it's so easy to touch up. I can get my makeup. Sometimes you don't have to put anything from your brush, but I would just touch and just hit a couple areas and probably a little bit of bronzer, and that's what my touch up is. And I wouldn't, I wouldn't have to. But the great thing about it too, I feel like it wears off really pretty. Like it doesn't. When you got to take your makeup off, you're going to see that you've got makeup on, but it doesn't look like you don't have any on. You know what I mean? It just kind of, as it wears throughout the evening, I feel like it just kind of wears off nicely, if that makes sense. It's not like patchy or streaky or anything like that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. By the end of the day, I still feel like I have makeup on, but if I was going out, I would touch up. But what I'm saying is you still feel like you look good.
You're good. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay. So let's get it.
I think that's
I'm just making sure we hit all the questions that was in my box. Okay, if you're seeing too much texture, make sure you have the right shade.
Yep.
Number one. Exfoliate your skin.
Yep.
Take care of your skincare. But texture is normal, guys. Nobody is texture free.
Yeah.
If they are, they're filtering because everybody has something on their face. No one's texture free.
Yeah. And if you do have acne problems and stuff like that too, and you're thinking, I mean, you can get it to kind of minimize that, but texture is still going to be there. It is still going to see it from the side or whatever. You may just want to try to be able to minimize what it looks like, but have the right shade. Like Ashley said, that's going to be one of the things that's really going to help be able to hide more. If you're too light, then you're going to have it. And then as far as you're going to show texture if you're too light. And then as far as exfoliation and stuff, if you're super sensitive, you need to find the right exfoliant for you because there's so many different kinds out there. You can do a gentle one, but it's going to start with good skincare. Good skincare is going to be the foundation for foundation, right?
Exactly. Right. And you said about the color correcting, hold on, you said something about, okay, if your shade is too light, that's another reason, like under your eyes, you kind of want to get away from that very bright triangle. You're not covering it up, really. You want to color correct first. Okay. And then just if you're new to the makeup, you may have a little bit of an adjustment period. They say give it about 2 weeks, especially if you're going from using a powder to a cream makeup. Your skin's going to have to adjust because this cream makeup is very hydrating to the skin.
It is. It's like a barrier. It's almost like it's just a good barrier for your skin. And anytime I do a makeover, I feel like the most people will say is it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything. It's just like a moisturizer. That's what everybody loves is you don't feel like you're caked on with makeup. It just feels like you just have nice moisturized skin.
Right.
And I love it. Yeah.
Right. Everybody that I've ever done in person,
Me
that's
too.
the first thing they
Me
say
too.
is, oh my goodness, it feels like I have nothing on my skin. So that's awesome. And then just another thing, if you're having trouble with your makeup just not looking good or not blending, make sure you clean your brushes.
Yep.
That was another thing. We have 2 different cleaners. Seint has the brush cleaner.
Yep.
You can just spray on, use a towel, and you can use them right then immediately. And they also have the brush soap, which I do that like once a month, clean my brushes with that. And that's it. We covered all the questions that was in the box. And let me just, okay, what mascara do y'all use? I use Tartelette Tubing Mascara. This is the XL, but the XL and the regular are the same. This tube's just bigger. So, and then
is the XL any better than the regular one?
I think the formula is just the same. Just this tube is bigger than the normal size.
Okay.
But
because I've got the Tartelette. I was wondering if I needed to get that one.
And then what do you use, Susie?
Today, what I have on my eyes is I use this from Lash Princess. This is like a $5 primer, and then I put on this one. This is the Lash Princess False Lash Effect, and this is $5. These are both $5. You can get them from Amazon or Ulta.
Okay.
My most favorite though is this one, but I didn't wear it today. It's $5 from Essence too. I love Essence.
Okay. All right. Well, we covered all the questions, and I guess if nobody has any more questions, we'll call it a night.
Okay. Well, it's been good. Well, I think we're going to try to do this maybe a couple of times a month where we can come in. And so if there are things that, you know, Ashley can do a certain technique and I can do another one, or we can do whatever, you know, we can do this a couple times a month, and that way it can be a learning from watching 2 different people do, you know, basically the same.
Right. So if y'all have questions, throw them at us and let us know. We'll try to touch it on one of these lives. But thank you, Susie, for coming on with us.
Thank you. It's been fun. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. I saw a comment finally. It says loved watching.
Oh, at the very end, you see a comment.
At the very end, I can see a comment. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you for coming on, Susie. And y'all have a good Sunday evening. Bye.